Hello everyone, this is a overview of Bobot. This is from Design 254, where we were tasked to make a toy. So first we'll start off with a little exterior overview, and I'll point out some of the features. So first you'll notice that there are some toys here. First we have a dog bone with a dog bone texture on it, and we have a ball with a different texture on it. And these have magnets on them. You can fit them in the mouth. It's a fun little play feature. Starting at the top, the ears articulate so you can move them around. The head articulates on a ball joint so you can move it around and pose it to look at things. And each leg is on a ball joint as well, so you can pose it to do whatever you like. Starting off with operation, in the back you'll see there is a charging port here for USB-C and a button on the back. And when you press the button, it will spring to life, wag his tail, and bob his head up and down. So notice on the back there are 4 LED lights that show its charge level, 4 meaning it is fully charged until it runs out and it won't show an LED. And when you're done with this, you just double tap the power button and he'll turn off. Next I'll take you through deconstruction. On the bottom there are 4 screws that hold the outer shell to the main chassis, one on each kind of corner, and I'll take those off right now. So those bolts go all the way through and screw into the top shell and sandwich both shells together on top of the chassis. So once those 4 screws are taken out, you can take off the bottom shell. And this is the bottom shell. Once that is off, this reveals the underside, which shows the main motor. This is a stepper motor controlled by an ESP32 microcontroller that I'll show you when we take off the top shell. And that goes to a drive shaft, which goes to a bevel gear, which controls both the tail movement on this cam follower, and as well as another bevel gear that travels across the top of it and spans to the front of the dog that makes the head go up and down. And we'll look at that more when the head goes off. But first, to access the underside of the top shell, we have to move the head forward. And once the head is all the way forward, we can just take this off. Once you wiggle that out of the way of the head mechanism, you can pop it up, move it out of the way a little bit, and then you simply just have to push the tail through this hole that's just about the size of the tail. Once you're in here, you can see all of the different electronics that are used. So on its back, and spanning almost the whole back, is the lithium-ion battery. It is 6,000 milliamp hours, lasts quite a long time, but if you need to charge it, your charging port is right there. You can see it on the outside of the toy. At the front, right underneath the head, you can see some multicolored wires going to the motor controller, and that's what controls the stepper motor and gives it instructions on what to do. But what houses the code and where you can access the code is this small USB-C port in there, and that would be the ESP32 microcontroller. So that's what stores the code and lets Bobot know when to bob its head up and down and wag its tail. Tells it its interval time and can tell it to do it at random intervals. Code can be updated for different things that you want it to do. Now that this is off, we can see that there is a ball joint going into the back of the head, and we can have a better look at the mechanism. And as you can see, the tail is on a centering spring that follows this bevel gear. This bevel gear has a cam profile on the bottom, and the tail just has a little follower that follows it. Now we can better see. Move the legs out of the way. Bevel gear right here going across the top of the big bevel gear, going to the front and being held in by 2 pins at the front here, so it creates a pivot point. And across that pivot point is where the head moves. And you can also see on the chassis there are the 4 locating holes for the outer shell. So it is quite a tight package, and there is a lot stored in here, but when it's all together, it's very nice. And I'll just turn it on while it's off. And again, just double tap that to turn it off. And again, to put the shell back on, the head does have to be all the way forward so that this can fit in between the 2 little prongs that hold the head up. Taking apart the head is an easy process. You just have to take off the ears. And this is where he starts to look a little interesting, a little less like a dog. And on the back, you have 4 screws that you need to take out. Once the head is off, you can see the inside has some ribbing and some screw holes, along with the indent for the ball joint, and the head for heat set inserts, along with the magnet on the other side of the mouth. It has the separate pieces for the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. And so that locates just right there. Flush and nice when all 4 screws are put in. Moving on to the legs, they are 6 pieces per leg, 7 if you count this spacer inside of the knee joint. Go ahead and take it apart for you. So on the lower part of the leg, there are 2 screws on the inside. And so once you get those 2 pieces off, you will find the first half, the lower leg. And once the inner part is off, you can go ahead and this shield has a heat set insert, and as you can see now, there's only 1 heat set in the other half of the leg there. So this completes it. It holds the shield onto the outside of the leg while also securing the other half of the leg onto the outside. Just 1 screw, and comes off of this nub. This locator has a heat set insert, and that's what it screws into. And this is the other half of the outside leg. It is the same for the top as well. You just take off this screw on the back, and underneath this shield there is another screw, and that comes off. But that is what holds it on to the ball joint, so I won't be doing that. Yeah, that is my overview and teardown of the BowBot from Design 254. Thank you guys for watching.